that health scare, that grief, that loneliness you're facing. What if it's not a setback, but a setup? Meet George, who turned his unbearable loss into a lifeline for others. Your hardest moment could be the doorway to your greatest purpose. 1. True strength is quiet, steady, and rooted in commitment. There's a kind of strength that doesn't make a lot of noise. It doesn't show off, doesn't need applause, and doesn't wait for the right time to appear. You won't see it on magazine covers or hear it shouted from the rooftops, but you'll feel it in the quiet persistence of someone who keeps going when life gets heavy. Real strength is steady. It's the widowed grandmother who still gets up every morning to tend her garden. It's the retired veteran who volunteers at the food bank because helping others gives him purpose. It's the woman who, after years of being overlooked, finally stands up and says, "I matter too." These are not grand, dramatic acts, but they're powerful beyond words. True strength doesn't mean never feeling weak. It means staying the course even when you do. It's built not in moments of ease, but in times of trial, when the silence is deafening, when the outcome is uncertain, when you're the only one holding the line. Ask yourself, when life gets hard, where does your strength come from? What values keep you going? If you've ever kept moving forward when everything inside you said stop, you already know what real strength feels like. Hold on to that. It's enough. And if you've ever felt alone in that strength, the next part will remind you you're not the only one walking that road. 2. To never quit is to stay true to the best within you. Let's talk about something many of us have lived through: the urge to give up, not on everything, but on ourselves. Maybe it was after a loss. Maybe it was during a hard season when nothing seemed to go right. Or maybe it's now, when your body feels slower, your energy feels thinner, and it's easy to wonder if it's still worth the fight. But here's the truth. To keep going isn't about stubbornness. It's about honoring the best within you. You see, not quitting isn't about pretending everything's fine. It's about returning again and again to what you know matters. It's about showing up for your values even when no one's watching. That quiet sense of duty, that's your compass. I once met a man named Carl, a former teacher now in his 70s, who decided to start learning the piano. It wasn't easy. His fingers were stiff. His memory wasn't what it used to be. But every morning he practiced, not to impress anyone, just because it mattered to him. He told me, "I'm not quitting on myself this time. I've done that too often." That's what it means to endure. Not for perfection, but for principle, for purpose. Ask yourself, what's one thing you've wanted to do, but stopped short of? What would it mean to return to it, not to win, but to finish it with honor? Keep showing up. That's where your power lives. And if you've ever questioned whether discipline still matters, the next part will show you why it's not just important. It's what holds everything together. 3. Discipline is a daily decision, not a one-time effort. Discipline isn't something you choose once and never think about again. It's a decision you make every day, often in quiet moments when no one's watching. And truth be told, it's not always easy. But if you've ever kept a promise to yourself when it would have been easier to break it, then you know what real discipline feels like. It shows up in small ways: getting out of bed on a cold morning to take your walk, keeping your temper when someone pushes your buttons, turning down that second helping when you know your health is on the line. These aren't headline moments, they're private victories, but they shape the course of your life. I remember meeting a woman named Eileen at a local senior center. She was in her late 70s and had survived 2 strokes. Every afternoon, rain or shine, she showed up for chair yoga. When I asked her why she kept coming, she smiled and said, "Because I made myself a promise, and I keep promises." That's discipline, not flashy, not perfect, but steady. So ask yourself, what's one small promise you could keep today? Not tomorrow, not next week, today. Start there. Let that be your foundation. Because when you build your life on small daily disciplines, You don't just stay on track, you become stronger than anything that tries to pull you off it. If that speaks to you, stay with me. In the next part, we'll talk about the hidden strength that lives inside life's hardest moments, and how setbacks can become your greatest teachers. 4. Obstacles are opportunities in disguise. If has a way of throwing curveballs, just when you think you've found steady ground. Maybe it's a health scare, the loss of a loved one, a broken relationship, or simply the quiet loneliness that sneaks in after retirement. It's in these moments we ask, why now? Or, haven't I faced enough already? But what if those hard places weren't setbacks, but setups? What if the obstacle wasn't a wall, but a doorway? The truth is, many of the strongest, most compassionate people we know didn't become that way in spite of their hardships, but because of them. Struggle has a way of chiseling out wisdom and strength that comfort never could. Take George, a former factory worker I met at a church breakfast. After losing his wife of 40 years, he sank into a long, silent grief. But slowly, he began volunteering at a local food pantry. That loss, which once felt unbearable, became the reason he now shows up for others in pain. He didn't just survive, he transformed. So ask yourself, what difficulty are you facing right now? And what might it be here to teach you? It's not about pretending the pain isn't real. It's about refusing to waste it. Because hidden inside every challenge is a chance to become stronger, wiser, and more alive than ever before. In the next part, we'll look at how living for something bigger than ourselves can turn even the smallest act of endurance into a legacy. Don't miss it. You may already be that example someone else needs. 5. Duty anchors you to something bigger than yourself. There comes a point in life when you start asking different questions. Not just, what do I want, but what am I here for? And the answer, more often than not, isn't found in comfort. It's found in duty. Duty isn't about grand gestures or medals. It's about showing up, especially when it would be easier not to. It's caring for a spouse through illness, calling your grandkids even when they don't call back, keeping your word when no one else remembers you gave it. It's those quiet, consistent acts that often go unnoticed, but leave a mark that lasts. I remember a gentleman named Frank, a Korean War veteran. He wasn't loud about his service, but every morning he raised the flag in front of his apartment building. Rain or shine, no matter what. When asked why, he said, because some things you keep doing, even when no one's clapping. That's the power of duty. It grounds you. It gives your choices meaning. And when life gets heavy or uncertain, duty is what holds you steady. So ask yourself, who relies on your strength, even in ways they don't say? What standard are you modeling in your family, your neighborhood, your community? When you live with duty, you don't just endure, you lead. Quietly, powerfully, lastingly. If you've ever felt like your efforts don't matter, the next part will show you how even one present moment, fully lived, can become the turning point of a life. Stay with me. 6. The present moment is the forge of transformation. It's easy to get caught up in the past, what we should have done, what we've lost, or to worry about what may come next. But the truth is, the only moment we have any real power in is this one, right now. The present moment may feel small, even ordinary, but it's where change actually happens. It's where strength is built, where healing begins, and where a new chapter quietly starts. One breath, one choice, one step at a time. I once met a woman named Dorothy. She was 82, living alone after losing her husband of nearly 60 years. She told me, for a while, I just waited for life to feel full again. Then one morning, I opened the curtains, made myself a fresh pot of coffee, and said, today, I begin again. That tiny decision, just to begin, shifted everything. You don't need the perfect plan. You don't have to feel ready. You just need to show up, fully, right where you are. So ask yourself, what's one small action you can take today? Not tomorrow. Not someday. Today. Can you go for a walk? Call someone you love? Read something that lifts your spirit? Because the present isn't just where life happens, it's where transformation begins. And if you've ever felt like complaining is the only outlet for your pain, the next part will show you how to reclaim your strength by choosing a different path, one that leads to peace instead of bitterness. Don't miss it. 7. Complaining drains energy. Gratitude restores it. Let's be honest. Life doesn't always go the way we hoped. The aches, the changes, the disappointments. It's easy to fall into the habit of complaining. And sometimes, it feels good to let it out. But over time, if we're not careful, complaining starts to drain us. It turns our focus toward what's wrong and blinds us to what's still right. Gratitude, on the other hand, is quiet. It doesn't erase the pain, but it shifts how we carry it. It reminds us that even in hardship, there are still things worth holding on to, like a warm cup of coffee in the morning, the laughter of a grandchild, or simply the fact that we woke up today with another chance to try again. I remember a woman named Rose, widowed and in her 80s, living with arthritis that made each movement painful. But every day she wrote down 3 things she was thankful for. Some days it was her cat curled up beside her. Some days it was the sunlight on the porch. She told me, "It doesn't take the pain away, but it gives me strength to carry it." Gratitude isn't a denial of difficulty, it's a decision to focus on what remains. So ask yourself, what's still good in your life? What can you appreciate right now, however small? Because where your attention goes, your energy follows. Let it follow hope, and if you've ever found yourself comparing your life to someone else's, the next part will help you understand how to stop giving your peace away and start standing in the worth of your own path. Stay with me. 8. Excellence is a choice, not a destination. Let me share something that might feel a little surprising at first. Excellence isn't some far-off achievement, some shining finish line that only a lucky few reach. It's not a title you earn or a prize someone hands you. It's a choice. A daily, deliberate choice to keep living with care, with integrity, and with intention, even when no one is watching. Excellence isn't about being perfect. It's about showing up fully for your life. I once met a retired nurse named Martha. She was in her mid-70s, living alone, long past the time when most people would say she had done her part. But every morning she still rose early. She still folded her sheets with care. She still read, wrote reflections in her journal, and called one neighbor every day, just to check in. Not because anyone asked her to, not because it made headlines, but because she believed in living with a certain standard. She told me, "If I'm still breathing, then I'm still becoming." That's excellence, not in applause, but in presence, not in speed, but in steadiness. And what's powerful about this truth is that it means excellence is available to anyone, at any age. You don't need a stage. You don't need to be the best in the room. You just need to hold yourself to a standard that reflects the kind of person you believe you were meant to be. Ask yourself this: what does the best version of you look like? Not 10 years ago, but now in this season of life. Does it mean calling that old friend you've drifted from? Does it mean returning to the hobby you gave up when life got busy? Does it mean treating your time, your health, or your relationships with a bit more care? The good news is, you don't need to overhaul your life overnight. Excellence is built in the small things, in how you speak to yourself when no one else hears, in whether or not you follow through on what you said you'd do, even if it's just a walk around the block, in whether you give up when it gets hard or lean in just a little more. It's in the way you answer the phone, in the tone you use with your spouse, in the choice to stretch your legs when you'd rather stay put, in the way you carry yourself, not for others, but for your own sense of dignity. You see, there's a kind of quiet excellence that speaks louder than any trophy ever could. It's the older man who still volunteers at the shelter every week because he said he would. It's the grandmother who tells her story so her grandchildren will know where they come from. It's the woman who, even through pain, keeps her kindness. That's what excellence looks like: simple, grounded, steady. So here's your invitation. Choose it. Choose excellence not because the world demands it, but because your soul deserves it. Because you still have something to give. Because your example still matters. Ask yourself, what is one small way I can raise my standard today, not for the world's approval, but for my own? Write it down, then do it. Let today be one more stone in the foundation of the life you're still building. In the next part, we'll talk about how comparison can quietly rob you of peace, and how learning to honor your own journey is one of the most powerful acts of strength you can make. You won't want to miss it. If this video sparked a memory or story for you, don't hold back. Share it with us in the comments. At this stage in life, success is no longer about chasing status or applause. It's about becoming someone you deeply respect. The real victories aren't always seen by others. They're in the quiet moments when you choose patience over frustration, discipline over comfort, and courage over fear. Life has tested you in ways younger folks may never understand. You've lost things that mattered. You've walked through uncertainty. And yet, you're still here, wiser, more grounded, and with more to offer than ever. That matters. The lessons are clear. Your past does not define you. Your strength lies in showing up every day with intention, and your identity is shaped not by what you did once, but by what you continue to choose. Whether it's keeping a daily routine, reaching out to someone in need, or returning to something you once loved, you still have the power to shape your story. Start with what you have, where you are, and trust that each small act of excellence adds up. Because in the end, the life that means the most isn't built in one big moment. It's built in many quiet ones, and each one is a chance to become more of who you were always meant to be.